Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I make my bows. You can do this a couple of different ways, but I'm just going to show you the way I make mine, and I will explain how you can do it the other way without a sewing machine and stuff, but I like to do it this way. I'm also going to show you a quick haul from what I got from Spotlight yesterday, so I'll do that now. And while my heat press is heating up, and then I'll show you how I make my bows. So first off, I got this lovely little sunflower fabric. I got that through a click and collect because it's for something that somebody ordered off me, so I needed to get some of that. And while I was in there, I realised I needed to get some pinking shears, so that would be good for things to stop things fraying for some things when I'm not using the overlocker. And while I was in there getting those, I walked past the clearance rack and found a couple of knit fabrics. So first off, there's just this little purple and blue stripe stretch fabric. I thought they might be good for some more of my twist headbands. And I also got some really lovely floral stretch knit fabric, so that'll be good for headbands as well. Anyway, now that we've done that haul, let's get into the making of the bow. Okay, so I've just moved the camera so that you can see what I'm doing, but I've already got using pre-cut fabric, so I'm not going to cut it in this video, but I will show you how to make it. This is just a 5 inch width by an 8 inch length, and then I've got about a 2 inch width piece of fabric here just to go around the middle, and which will be folded. I'm not quite sure how long it is, but maybe about a 3.5 or so by measuring it up against my other piece of fabric. So if you're going to fold in your edge just a little bit, and then you're going to use your iron, or I'm just using a little mini Cricut heat press to do this, but an iron will work the same. I just prefer doing this. So just iron that down, and then the same on the other side. Okay, so now that's done, I'm just going to move that up there because this one we're just going to fold this in half. I'm not going to iron it because I'm only going to iron it in a second, and then fold the other side into the middle as well, and then fold it in half. You could do a little bit bigger piece if you wanted your centerpiece bigger, maybe go up to a 3 inch or something, but I'm happy with that because it's only a small bow. If you did a bigger size bow than what I've done here, you would obviously cut that bigger to have a bigger center. But once you've folded it, you're going to iron that as well. If you can hear the kitten, he's meowing in the background. I think he's attention seeking, or he might be trying to tell me that he wants his dinner, but it's not quite dinner time yet. Okay, so once that's ironed out, I'm just going to go over to the sewing machine and then I'll show you the next bit. For the next bit, you're going to need a needle and thread, and you can also just do this with the needle and thread, or you can do it with the sewing machine as well. I'm going to do it with the sewing machine and I will show you that bit, but I'm just doing this first. So you just thread your needle and just tie the end just a few times just to get a knot in there. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Now, if when you go through your bow, it does come straight through, you'll just need to pull it out and retie it again just to get a bit bigger knot in there so that it doesn't come through. Okay, so probably can't really see it very well, but I have got my knot in there now. I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit so it's only a small little bit. And now I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to show you this bit. So we'll move the center piece just to the side for now. Now we've got our bow here, our fabric for the bow. I'll just see if I can move this down. Oh, there we go. So now we're just going to fold our fabric for the bow just into the center for both, or almost into the center. And then you're going to do the same on the other side, and so you want to make sure that they're even. So you might sort of have to fiddle with this a little bit to get it as even as possible. And now do the same from the other side, and you just want them slightly overlapping. So there we go, it's slightly overlapping. I'm just going to sit that down here and move the camera slightly. Okay, so this is a bit where you can use a sewing machine or you don't need to. If you didn't want to use a sewing machine, you can just do this bit first without the sewing machine. I like to use the sewing machine just to keep it a little bit firmer and secure. I just want to sew just straight down the center just to have it a little bit firmer. Okay, so that's sewn now. Now, you don't need to do that bit, like I said, with the sewing machine. If you haven't got a sewing machine or you're just wanting to do it by hand, you can just do it this way. But I just like to have that little extra step just so I know that they're secure and they're not going anywhere, which I'm sure they're not, but. So now you're just going to put your needle just through there, just more in the center. You may just have to play with this a few times to get your pleats in the right place, but you just basically want to have 5 pleats. So just keep going back through your fabric. So I've now got 2 pleats. Three. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pleats. So then you're just going to pull that through the center. Like I said, if you're not quite happy with where your pleats are sitting, you may need to pull it back out and redo it, but I'm pretty happy with where that is. So you just pull your needle and thread through, and you just want to wrap that round the center of that a few times, and then just fiddle with it to make sure it is centered enough. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, we've got it. When you've got it where you want it to be, you're just going to go into the middle bit here and you're just going to tie it off and secure it. I like to go through just a couple of times and then back through the thread which will knot it. And I might even just go through the fabric on this one and then back out. And again, knot it. And we're done. We're just going to cut that off now. Here's the bit where we're going to attach our centerpiece. Now you want to just check this to make sure that your part that you folded into the middle is at facing you, so that where the clip is going, so it ends up being where the clip is at the back. Okay, so now again, this is where you could use a sewing machine or not use a sewing machine. I like to use a sewing machine for this bit as well. So I'm just going to sew here, which I will do on camera in a second. But if you weren't wanting to use a sewing machine or you don't have one, you're just going to use your fabric glue. This is just the glue I've got at the moment, but there's plenty of different fabric glues out there. And you would, it's obviously been a while since I used my fabric glue because it's got a bit stuck. But you would glue, just put a little bit on your bow at the back and then there, just to glue it onto the bow as you're going. But I'm not going to do that. I will use glue in a minute, but not quite yet, because I want to sew it first. But then once you've got that around, you then put another little bit of glue there and fold that over it so that you're little bit there, and then you'd fold that back over, and you'd have to snip some of this off because you've got a little bit extra, and try and fold it under a little bit as well, and then glue it down without that extra piece. But this is not how, so I'm going to turn that over that way because I'm going to sew it and then flip it. So we get that in the center. Just put your bow on there and your fabric. Make sure it's centered properly. And then you're going to go back and forth across this just to make sure it's definitely secure. Okay, press the foot down. Maybe try and get a little bit closer, that's better. Okay, and start sewing. And back. Back forward, and back again, forward. And then we're going to cut the thread, pull that off. So that's cut like that, and then you're just going to cut off your excess there. Just be careful not to cut the stitches you've just sewn. So now you want to just flip, just cut your threads if you've got a little bit, you don't want that seam. So just flip your center part so that that seam is on the inside, and then you'll just have to move it back into place. Have it with your center at the back like that. And now this is where I will glue it, just to keep your center in the place where you want it so it doesn't move. So I'm just going to put just a little, stick my glue in underneath there and just put a little bit of dab of glue and then push it down. It will dry clear. So then we put that over there, and this is when we get our clip. So once that's dry, it won't go anywhere. Now this bit here, you're just going to slide your clip just in the back of the bow there. So that's it, all done. You could glue in your clip if you wanted to, but I just like to have it just sitting in there so that it's just easy to get in and out if people needed to get it in and out. So that's our bow done. I think it's quite cute. That's for one of our little mummy and me sets that I'm doing, because I'm doing some mummy and me sets with either scrunchies and bows or scrunchies and little mini scrunchies, whichever way people prefer to have to match with their little girls. So anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really helps my channel grow and I really appreciate it. And also helps me see the type of content that you guys like to see. If you guys make this, let me know how you went. I'd really like to see if I've helped anybody with it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.